Hello students, in this lecture I'll be discussing about the next topic of advanced instrumentation, that is photoelectric transducers. In my previous lectures I discussed about the basic terminologies and the prerequisites that you will be needing for the better understanding of optical transducers, or you can say photoelectric transducers. So what is a photoelectric or optical transducers? The purpose of a transducer. What is the purpose of a transducer? Transducer converts one form of energy into electrical energy. In basically in electronics or in electronics instrumentation department, you'll get the definition of transducer, that it will convert one form of energy into electrical form. Otherwise, the general definition of transducer is it will convert one form of energy into another form of energy. Whereas in electronics based courses, you'll get the definition that transducer will convert one form of energy into electrical form of energy. So the purpose of optical transducers or photoelectric transducers is it will convert light energy into electrical energy. So how it will do? It will use a photoemissive material, which when the light of suitable wavelength and suitable energy strikes that photoemissive material, it will emit electrons. So what is happening? It is converting the light energy into the electrical energy. So photoelectric effect is the ejection of electrons from a metal or semiconductor surface when illuminated by light or any radiation of suitable wavelength. So basically there are many types of photoelectric transducers. They are photoemissive cell, photoconductive cell, photovoltaic cell and photojunctions. So photoconductive cell, photoconductive cell and photojunctions. Under photojunctions you will get to study about photodiodes and phototransistors. So this photoconductive cell and phototransistors and photodiodes will fall under the category semiconductor photoelectric transducers. So here you're going to study about the different types of optical transducers. Each of these optical transducers will be using different mechanisms. So first we'll start with photoemissive cell. So photoemissive, what is the basic function of a photoemissive cell? This type of cells consist of a photoemissive material. So when light radiation of a suitable energy strikes that photoemissive cell, electrons emit out, and this emission of electrons is used for the conduction of current. So this light energy is getting converted into the electrical energy using this photoemissive material. Now this photoemissive material, it is also known as phototube, and they are basically of three types: vacuum type, gas filled type and photomultiply. So first we'll discuss the vacuum type photoemissive cell. I'll be discussing the advantages and disadvantages and why we have to go for the gas filled photoemissive cell or photomultipliers. So to start with, this is the vacuum type photoemissive cell. Now, as you can see, this whole arrangement is actually mounted in this evacuated glass envelope. This glass envelope is evacuated. The whole arrangement is mounted in this evacuated glass envelope. Now, the arrangement consists of a thin metal film which is in curved shape, and the concave part of this thin metal film is coated with photoemissive material. Now this concave part of the thin metal film which is covered with photoemissive material, it will work as cathode. So this concave part will work as cathode, as here written also. Now, which is the anode part? As you can see, there is a rod which is mounted at the center of curvature of this cathode. So this is the rod anode. Now what is the mechanism? The mechanism is, as you can see, this curved surface is cathode and the rod is the anode. Now what happens when the light will strike this curved surface, or you can say when the light will strike the curved surface that is coated with this photoemissive material, what will happen? Electrons will emit out. When the electrons, they are not going to emit out at an instant. What will happen when the light, as we know, the light consists of, in the quantum state what we study, that the light consists of photons, and each photon is having an energy E is equal to h nu. We know light consists of photons and each photon is having the energy E is equal to h nu. Now when the photons of this radiation, having the energy greater than the band gap of the photoemissive material, only then after gaining the energy from the photons, the electrons from the photoemissive material will emit out. So the electrons will emit out only when the photon energy of the light radiations is greater than the band gap energy of this photoemissive material. Now this emitted electrons will be collected by the anode and this will form the electric current. So this is the whole mechanism how the light radiations, they are getting converted into the electrical energy, how the light energy is getting converted into the electrical energy using this vacuum type photocell or vacuum type photoemissive cell, whatever you say. It is also called vacuum type phototube. Now this is the circuit which is used for measurement of luminous flux or luminous intensity, which I was saying, that light intensity or light energy. So basically the technical term that I will be using here is the luminous flux or luminous intensity, which is actually representing the light energy of the radiation. So this is the circuit which will use for the measurement of luminous flux or luminous intensity using this vacuum type photoemissive cell. So here is the vacuum type photoemissive cell. The light will fall on the cathode part of the photoemissive cell and electrons will emit out, and this will be collected by this anode of this photoemissive cell, and which will form the electric current in the circuit. When we actually apply a battery and close the circuit, we'll get the electric current which will result due to this photoemissive cell because of the light striking the photoemissive cell. Now as we can see, the current, that is the photo, or you can say the photoelectric current. Here I will be saying photoelectric current because this current is the result of photoemissive effect, because the light radiations are striking the photoemissive material and only then we'll get the current. So here I will use the term photoelectric current. So this photoelectric current depends on various factors. Here it will depend on various factors. What are the factors? First, the photoelectric current will depend on the luminous intensity of light. This photoelectric current will depend on the luminous intensity of light, which means if the light is having higher intensity, if the light which is striking this photoemissive material, or you can say the cathode part, the light which is striking the cathode part, if this light is having higher intensity, means the number of photons of the light striking this photoemissive material is more, means the electrons emitting out because of the absorption of energy from the photons will be more, and because of that the current, that is the photoelectric current, will be more. So we can say this photoelectric current is depending on the luminous intensity of the radiation. Second, the photoelectric current will depend on the color of light or the wavelength of light. As I've told you in my previous lectures also, that because of the quantum state of matter, E is equal to h nu. We know that light radiations, they are composed of photons, and the photon energy E is equal to h nu, where E is the photon energy, h is the Planck's constant, and nu is the frequency of radiation. Or you can say nu can be expressed in terms of wavelength of radiation also. And for different wavelengths, for different colors, the light will have different wavelengths. We know this thing also. For different colors of light, the wavelength of the light is different. So we can say the photon energy will be different depending on the color of the light. because the photon energy is dependent on the frequency or wavelength of light, and the frequency or wavelength of light will result in different colors of light. So we can say for different colors of radiation we have different photon energies. And now if the photon energy if it is greater than the band gap material of the photoemissive cell, then electrons will get emit out and form the current. But if it is less than the band gap material of the photoemissive cell, then we will not get any current. And depending upon the energy of the photons, the amount of current will vary accordingly. So we can say this photoelectric current depends on the color of light, or you can say the wavelength of light, because the photon energy is depending on the wavelength or color of light. And the third factor on which this photoelectric current will depend is the voltage that is applied between the cathode and anode. So depending on the voltage, if the voltage is more, the current will increase. If the voltage is less, the current will decrease. So these are the three factors on which this photoelectric current will depend. And how will this circuit be used for the measurement of luminous flux or luminous intensity, or you can say the light energy? I'll tell you in my next lecture. I'm ending this class here.